Ladies and gentlemen, buonasera, good evening. Honorable Professor Enrico Mairo, Honorable Mr. Vittorio Pesato, dear supporters and distinguished guests, thank you for organizing this important initiative and this critical event. I want to start by announcing that the demand by the prosecution in Hague today to prosecute the leaders of the State of Israel, the state which is combating the absolute evil, is an abhorrent form of anti-Semitism and a moral disgrace unprecedented in history. The ethical bankruptcy has led to a situation where institutions established to protect humanity are now shielding its destroyers. This situation provides the murderers, the rapists, the baby slaughters with an incentive to commit such actions against the West. The people of Israel are resilient. They stand firmly behind their leaders and soldiers and will not be broken. Together with our true friends around the world, we will overcome the evil and the hypocrisy, and we will win this war. We gather here today on this historic occasion of establishing a new cultural, political movement to defend our civilization from barbarism. Barbarism that aims to destroy it. I'm happy to be here with friends and partners in the war to defend our identities. I stand before you today at a time when my country and my people are fighting an existential war against absolute evil. My people, the people of Israel, suffered a horrific barbaric massacre on October 7 and one of the most brutal terrorist attacks in history, if not the most evil. As of today, 128 Israeli hostages are still being held captive by the barbaric Hamas monsters. The youngest hostage, Kfir Bibas, is not even a year and a half years old. The oldest is 86. I will emphasize again, besides the murder, the rape and the torture, Hamas terrorists intentionally and deliberately kidnapped innocent civilians, including the elderly and babies. All this evil was done on purpose. These are not human beings, these are Hamas monsters. Any person that has a shred of humanity must be horrified by their barbaric deeds, without if and without but. Since the massacre, the anti-Semitism has reared its head all over the world. Ladies and gentlemen, make no mistake. Israel and the Jewish people are just the first in line. The Western democracies are next. And now I have a question for you. Who among of you has visited Israel? Did anyone visit the city of Tel Aviv? Okay, nice. I welcome you all. Today, Tel Aviv is a thriving metropolis, large and modern. Yet, a mere century ago, Tel Aviv was in its infancy, taking its first steps in development. A notable historical anecdote recounts Winston Churchill's visit in March 1921. At that time, Churchill served as the British colonial secretary. The mayor of Tel Aviv, Mayor Dizengoff, wanted to impress Churchill that Tel Aviv is a flourishing city. The mayor decided to bring mature trees and carefully planted them on Rothschild Boulevard in the heart of Tel Aviv. Unfortunately, during the visit, an unexpected strong gust of wind sent these trees crashing to the ground. Churchill, who understood immediately the situation, turned to Tel Aviv's mayor, remarking, "Mr. Dizengoff, without roots, nothing will flourish here." Ladies and gentlemen, roots are the key in our challenge. Another question, with your permission. Who among of you has visited the ancient quarters of Rome? Oh, many more. Everyone guessed. Within the ancient quarters of Rome stands the impressive Titus Gate, a historical testament to the suppression of the Judean uprising almost 2 millennia ago. Within the Titus Gate lies an ancient relief depicting Jewish captives carrying the menorah from the destroyed temple in Jerusalem through the streets of Rome. That moment, almost 2,000 years ago, marked the loss of our homeland, state, and sovereignty. The future of the Jewish people appeared very bleak. Yet, here I stand before you today, 2,000 years after that national tragedy, as an official representative of the modern state of Israel. The Jewish people achieved the unimaginable. The Jewish people returned from the far corners of the globe to their ancestral homeland. The Jewish people live in the same land, speak the same language, and worship the same God, much as we did 2 millennia ago. Our survival as a nation without homeland or state centers our unwavering connection to our roots, our enduring memory of Jerusalem, our invincible dream of returning to Jerusalem. And these are the forces that brought us back to Jerusalem and our homeland of Israel. Before entering to the promised land, Moses spoke to the people of Israel saying, "Ask your father and he will tell you. Your elders will inform you." This, my friends, is the hidden source of our nation's resilience. And I propose that anyone seeking to preserve their identity should heed this wisdom. Today, 2 imperialist movements threaten our civilization: the radical Islam and the woke movement. Since the dawn of humanity, there has existed a clash between nationalism and imperialism. Imperialism seeks to homogenize humanity into a uniform shape, directly opposing the essence of nationalism. Today, we also confront imperialist movements. The radical Islam, striving for homogeneity through force. They want to establish Ummah al-Islamiyah, a nation of Islam. Another imperialist movement is the radical progressive movement, known as the woke. This movement aims to erase identities, be they religious, national, or familial. We must understand that without identities, there are no families, no children, no continuity, no future. The erasure of national and religious identities does not liberate the individuals. It robs them of essential aspects of their humanity. In the absence of roots, we become defenseless to forces antagonistic to Western values such as radical Islam, such as Iran. Churchill's wisdom still resonates. Without roots, nothing will flourish here. Honorable guests, the attack on October 7 took place in southern Israel, but we are also threatened by Hezbollah from the north and by the Palestinian Authority from the east. The Palestinian Authority indoctrinates their citizens from infancy that murdering Jews is the highest virtue. The Palestinian Authority denies the right of a Jewish state to exist. The Palestinian Authority pays salaries to terrorists for successful terror attacks. Pay for slave. And the head of the snake is, of course, Iran, the extremist Ayatollah regime which seeks to take over the world. And I tell you, take their words seriously. Unfortunately, many in the West world have abandoned us, abandoned Israel, abandoned the Jewish people, and through futile pressures try to prevent us from defeating our enemies. These futile pressures are not only immoral, but they also signal weakness to radical Islamic imperialism. This situation invites the radicals to carry out in Milano, Rome, Paris, London, Berlin, and New York the sadistic atrocities that were carried out in Israel. To the Islamic radicals, there is no place for any other identity than Islam. The state of Israel will prevail. Our people are strong and determined. We excelled at rising from the dust. We knew how to rise from the trauma of the destruction of the temple and the loss of our independence 2,000 years ago. We knew how to rise from the terrible Holocaust and reestablish the state of Israel. And we will defeat our current enemies. We will achieve the total victory. ניצחון מוחלט, Vittoria assoluta. My friends and partners, I'm proud to be among true partners in the world, true friends, upright people, people who know how to distinguish between good and evil. And I say to you here, the Islamist storm is coming your way. You may currently feel a bit of breeze. We in Israel feel it with full force. But the storm is on its way. Preserve your values. Remember your roots. Build strong families, strong communities, and strong nations. Respect your heritage and your identities. Out of loyalty to past generations and for the sake of future generations, do not give up. And also, stand by the side of the truth and justice. Stand by our side. Stand with Israel. Protect the Jewish minorities in your countries. Together, we will win and prevail. ביחד ננצח. Insieme vinceremo.